Oh boy. Oh yes, yes. Ugh. Some Kind of Wonderful is a wonderful film. I loved it. Yes. So good. All right, so the last John Hughes related project that we covered on the channel that we analyzed together and had a lot of fun with was Ferris Bueller's Day Off. The last teen film John Hughes ever directed. Some Kind of Wonderful, 1987, is the last teen film he ever wrote. In fact, it's the last teen film he ever had anything to do with. It's his last teen story. And I have a lot of personal theories about it. I think it's remarkable. I think it's so charming. I think it's very funny. I think it's a great story of how friendship can be very sexy. And it's also about male sensitivity. It's a good fucking movie. My God, I loved it. The director is Howard Deutsch. So, Howard directing and John writing. This is the same creative pair that we got behind Pretty in Pink. And Pretty in Pink and Some Kind of Wonderful are remarkably similar. Bad critics say that they are embarrassingly similar, right? But I think they're great companion pieces. Um, Pretty in Pink is the sister film to Some Kind of Wonderful's brother film. Like they're related for sure. But remember when we covered Pretty in Pink, and remember when I said that in the original ending of Pretty in Pink, Andy was supposed to end up with Ducky. The outsiders were supposed to end up together, but test audiences did not like it, so they switched it to Andy ending up with Blaine, the yuppie kid, which is an ending I like. I like that ending. Watch my video on Pretty in Pink for a full analysis of it. Still my favorite John Hughes project ever. But John Hughes didn't like having to change that ending because Ducky was significant to him. John Hughes always viewed himself as an outsider. I think largely he was an outsider until he died. Uh, so he really wanted to celebrate the outsider and give the outsider their love story. Wasn't able to do that with Pretty in Pink. Some Kind of Wonderful. Once again, we have a red-headed lead, this time played by Eric Stoltz instead of Molly Ringwald, and he's an outsider. He's an artist, and his best friend is Watts, played by Mary Stuart Masterson. I'm gonna fight the urge, Zach, to just go crazy about Watts. Let me just finish this first thought, and then we'll go to some fucking Watts analysis, man. Oh my god, what great character. Okay, um, that's his Ducky. Watts is his Ducky, and he's in love with a traditionally beautiful and sexy girl named Amanda Jones, and once again we enter into a sort of love triangle here. But this time the outsider wins. This time, the outsider is chosen. This time, we celebrate the misfit. This time, we champion the losers. And it's so rewarding. And I feel like it's such a good, like, final film for John because John couldn't do that in Pretty in Pink. So, like, his final statement within teen films is that misfits tell the best love stories. That's his final message there. And it's a fucking brilliant one. It's simple and it's perfect. Watts. I can't contain myself anymore. That's one of the greatest teen characters of all time. She's the fucking coolest. She's so dope, dude. Like, she's the best. This movie got me to stand up and, like, cheer, fucking get into it, dude. Like, it was be like, you better not fucking hurt her feelings, bro. Fucking Eric Stoltz, better not hurt her feelings, dude. Oh, Watts, and like seeing Watts cry made me teary eyed, and then seeing her super happy in the street at the end of the movie when fucking Eric Stoltz as Keith picks her up, kisses her, and gives her those fucking earrings, and she's like, I did want these, I did want them. I really wanted them. Of course, you didn't know that I loved you. You're stupid. It was great. Oh my god, I cried. I'm not ashamed to admit it. I tears of joy. Tears of joy. Everything was great about it, right? And we had great supporting players as well. Amanda's misogynist, like outwardly misogynist, vile ex-boyfriend was played by Craig Sheffer. Hardy Jens is the character's name, but we love Craig here. He was on One Tree Hill. Yeah, he'd go on to be in one of the greatest teen dramas of all time. So it's lovely seeing him start his teen art legacy here. Elias Koteas. I don't know how to say his name. All I know is that I love him dearly and deeply. Who doesn't? He's like he's a fucking wild fucking skinhead punk guy. He's so great in this movie. He's so funny. He's so funny. His comedy is really provocative, right? Like there's always this kind of anarchic glee or anarchic unpredictability to every one of his performances, even as a supporting role in a John Hughes teen film. Like he's still great, still so magnetic and um, kind of dangerous in a really fun way. But yes, it all comes back to Watts. Watts. I love that we made it like a tomboy drummer kind of punk girl who's our outsider. I love it so much. Like she is like what guy watched this movie and didn't immediately fall in love with her? Or like what guy watched this movie and didn't think, "Oh man, maybe friendship is sexy. Maybe I actually do have feelings for this girl that I don't see in a kind of lustful light because she doesn't follow traditional standards for beauty, right?" Like it's a film about male sensitivity as well, because Eric Stoltz is a very sensitive character. There are he mostly gives a great performance. There are parts where he's trying to appear charming, but he just kind of appears creepy. But it's fine. It's fine. It's forgivable. Those moments are few and far between, but when they happen, you're like, "Ooh, what the fuck's happening?" But Watts, flawless performance. Right up there with John Cryer's Ducky. Like they are so good, and I have a crush on Watts. I don't have a crush on Ducky. And John Hughes also gets to correct other things, right? Because I hadn't seen this movie before, and I wasn't sure if because there was like a scene where everyone was getting ready to go out on the town, and we saw Watts's character like put on lipstick and stuff, and like mess with her hair a little bit, like work it out. And I'm like, no, John Hughes, don't do a Breakfast Club on me. Don't make this perfect misfit kind of conform in order to get the good-looking guy's attention, like they did with Ali Sheedy's character in The Breakfast Club, which is like the only flaw in an otherwise flawless film. Uh, don't make her conform. And he doesn't. Thank God. She just puts on lipstick and dresses like a fucking chauffeur from a rockabilly show. Like she's great. She's wonderful. I love her. She doesn't have to conform. Right, because it's a film about male sensitivity, not conforming to male definitions of lust, right, and of sexiness. It's not about that. It's about nonconformity. The last statement that John Hughes made properly within the teen film canon that he popularized and basically invented was one of nonconformist love and telling like young girls they don't have to conform to get a man's attention and even telling like the Amanda Joneses of the world because her arc is really nice too. She doesn't get picked by Eric Stoltz's Keith, but she realizes that she doesn't need a man to define her at all. She wants to be alone and be like independent and see who the hell she actually is. And of course the misogynist Hardy Jens gets his ass handed to him, and he's like humiliated by Elias Codius and all the other skinheads. It's wonderful. It's wonderful, but it's a film that tells a lot of like really positive radical messages, and I love it so much. Watts is a character for the ages. Watts is one of the greatest characters of all time. I love her to death. John Hughes teen films had the most heart, and the most heart in a way that felt not only authentic but well intentioned. I love the art of John Hughes, the 80s teen films of John Hughes. He was fantastic. You know, he was brilliant. And Some Kind of Wonderful is just such a great film. It really is. I, I honestly view it, yeah, as a younger brother to Pretty in Pink. But it's the film where John gets to have his hero win. Watts, the outsider. It's the film where John gets to champion those he wants to champion most of all. Since 16 Candles, the Invisible Girl. And the Invisible Girl could be your tomboy friend who you don't view in a certain way, but obviously she's infatuated and intoxicated by your presence. He wants to champion Invisible Girls. And he did that from beginning to end. And with Some Kind of Wonderful, he gets to have it twofold, right? By championing the Invisible Girl, you're also celebrating the outsider. We are so fortunate that we had John Hughes. Some Kind of Wonderful is great. I love it. I just love it so fucking much. It's such a great film. I wouldn't be surprised if it becomes one of my most cherished teen movies because there's just such an endearing and enduring, enjoyable quality to it. And there's such a sensitivity and such a tenderness to it as well. Watts brings a lot of emotions out of me. Watts gets me to root for her. You know, Watts gets me involved with the film. I feel like I'm actually interacting with the film because of her. Like she brings it out of me. That character does. The way that she's like captured, the way that she was designed, the way that she's performed, the way that she's dressed, and the way that she cries, and definitely the way that she smiles, the way that she kisses. I guess it speaks to the eternal outsider inside of me that that never really had a chance to win. You know, not when it counted, not when I wanted to win most, right? John Hughes films looks out for outsiders like me, outsiders like you, and outsiders like Watts. And I love him dearly for that. Some Kind of Wonderful is a massively brilliant film. I would call it shockingly good and shockingly funny, as well as shockingly romantic. I love it. Thank you for watching my video.